veteran actors like Mr. Danza, they're not going to just sign on to be a part of any old project. The script got to read well, the characters got to make sense, the story has to work, and so they just also just affirms what we thought it was anyway. So to have him and Wendell Pierce and a couple other people join the cast, it lets us know like, okay, I think we're on to something really solid here. And the fact that he's able to join on for the third season is just it's great, man. It just, like I said, just reinforces for our audience. Because I know for some of us, the audience may not have seen us before or may not be as familiar. But we got veterans like Omar Epps in there as well, and a couple of people where the audience is able to say, you know what, I think it's worth taking a look at, because if Mr. Danza and these other people can join the show, it must be worth the time. And so I'm not mad at that validation.
I suppose London, in terms of finding your way onto very successful TV series, that in terms of longevity, you had that in the past with sort of Ballers. You're now onto season 3 in terms of Power Book as well. I suppose when you sign up and you get cast for a project, you never really know in terms of will it be a one season wonder or will it last longer than that. But is there a great sense of comfort as an actor now that you're on to season 3 and that you can really see, dare I say, that you haven't even reached the summit yet of where this can go, that there's certain many layers that are left to undiscover, that you could be looking at least another 2 seasons yet, hopefully, in the pipeline?
Right. With acting in general, acting is like an incredible temp job, and like an incredible temporary job where like the kind of jobs that people get during the holidays that last for a month or so. So with acting, I feel that same way. I never allow myself to even get that comfortable with the project. I just try to be present and try to be moment to moment. And, if it goes on to 3 more seasons or what have you, then that's great. I wasn't sure, even as actors, we never know if we might get written off. The character dies or something, get in a car accident. So I don't try to worry about anything I can't control. Right now, I'm like, hey, we're on the 3rd season, or actually currently now shooting the 4th season. So the fact that the fans have tuned in, and we got a great review the other day from Variety here in the States, and they mentioned how it's Starz' #1 show. So the fact that people are even emotionally invested in the show enough to watch and tune in every week, hey, I'm good with that. I get to pay my little bills and help people out. So that's enough for me.
And London, in terms of the character Marvin, we've seen his development. We've seen the different sides of his character throughout the sort of first 2 seasons. In terms of Marvin, is there a journey for him throughout season 3? Is he on a bit of a roller coaster throughout the season, or is he discovering different parts of his character maybe that was locked away? Is it a season of self-discovery maybe for Marvin?
I think as people watch the show going from season 1 to season 3, season 1 he's kind of a loose cannon, and then we get to season 2 where Marvin was going through therapy to try to really deal and adjust his personal demons. And so in season 3, we get to see him implement some of those techniques he got from therapy in season 2. We get to see that in season 3, and he's really trying to go through and be a lot more in tune with his emotions and turn over a new leaf, as we say. But we still get to watch his journey, because he's not perfect. He's really 3-dimensional. He's a real human being with emotions, and just like everybody else, he's going through his ups and downs. So I think the audience is going to enjoy where we decided to take Marvin, and the audience will enjoy seeing him go through these ideas of trying to figure out this thing called life. So it's going to be a good journey.
I suppose we've seen London that Power Book Kanan has touched on all the major sort of philosophies in terms of the show: love, greed, loss, hatred, conflict. What sort of other themes are prominent throughout sort of season 3? Are we still looking at lust, greed, envy? Are they the main sort of driving factors that we see throughout. To see that people are, the greed and the lust is still what's driving the people within this sort of universe.
Yeah, you know what? It's a little bit of everything. You know, we definitely, there's no story without some sort of conflict, but there's also interesting versions or interesting interpretations of resolutions. You know, sometimes resolutions might be revenge. Sometimes it's being able for a character to walk away. But that's the cool thing about the story is that the writers are really good. Major shout out to Sasha Penn, the showrunner, executive producer of the show. He and the writers do a good job at whenever the audience feel like they understand where the story is going to go, we hit them with another turn or another plot twist. And so we get to see a little bit of all of those things that you mentioned. There's still some greed in there, but then there's some real love, there's some compassionate family stuff and some loyalty that we see from there. Like I said, there's definitely some conflict going throughout the show, throughout the season. But how these characters come to a resolution within themselves and amongst each other is going to be the part that the audience is going to really want to tune in for.
Yeah, I suppose London, in terms of normally these type of series, they're sort of male driven, they're sort of testosterone sort of TV sort of series in terms of gang related sort of violence. But what was most about Raising Kanan is there's a strong bit of femininity throughout the show. We have a strong female character, strong female lead in Patina Miller. There's a strong element of that, the female complex or the female characters, or that this is a universe where we see real powerful, strong female leads and powerful female cast members as well that are enriched or enshrined in this sort of conflict that we're going on. That maybe with the original Power is mainly more male-led. This is a good sort of mix, a good blend to it.
Yeah, I think that's what's really special about our show too. Like I said, we have a strong major shout out to Patina Miller. She does a great job at selling this shit, you know, and to have her and have the character nice and strong, I think it's really empowering, no pun intended, to this particular series of Raising Kanan. But we do have a nice diverse cast, you know. That's something that I can appreciate, because you get all these different angles. You get the older angle characters like what Mr. Danza's playing. You get the strong lead Black woman. Then we have Marvin, who's kind of at times he feels some type of way because his sister is running the business. At one point he was running it, but he was incompetent because he got caught up. So there's all these different angles that we get to, these different relationships that we get to explore as viewers of the show. So I mean, there are lots of points to have people tune in, man. There's so many different angles and twists and the good writing and the good storytelling, the character developments and the new characters that will be coming onto the show this season. So it's one to watch out for.
I suppose, London, you mentioned there that you're filming season 4 at the moment in terms of Raising Kanan, and we're here today to talk about season 3. You're a busy man. Have you anything else in the pipeline in the works that you might have got to maybe sneak away from the set of Raising Kanan for a week or two to maybe shoot a guest star episode in a TV series or something that maybe that was put a halt or the brakes on in terms of last year or so, but is now reaching our way in terms of TV screen, in terms of being showcasing or coming our way now in the near future, that we're going to see London Brown in other things aside the world of Kanan?
Well, the thing about it is, so when I'm not shooting on the show, I do stand-up, you know, so I'm in the clubs and I'm always working on my comedy life and all of that. And we just here in the States, we were the actors, we just got on strike a few weeks ago, so everybody was shut down. So now that things are picking back up, you know, auditions, all those things, they're all going to start rolling back in. It's also kind of very demanding with this show because I'm a lead on this show, so it's not like I'm just like cab driver number 1. Like, this show is very demanding in itself. Like, we shoot this, I think it takes about 8 months, I think, something like that sometimes to shoot a project like this. So I'm lucky enough if I can even get out on the weekends to work clubs because even with the show, as the show was coming out, we're already in shooting the fourth season before the show came out. So this project is pretty demanding. So when I can't find a pocket, sometimes on the weekends or during the hiatus or Christmas breaks, I'm always in the clubs or major shout out to another program I'm a part of, NCRF, which is an organization that basically what we do is we help young people get into college. And that's what I'm about also in the middle of my career and all this stuff. And it's pretty pointless for me to have this somewhat of an influence and not use it in some sort of way to really impact people in a positive and progressive way. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing stand-up and I'm helping kids get into college. And there's some other things I can't quite speak about now, but I'm sure we'll come back and do another interview and be like, oh, I'm like, oh, that was in the works. So yeah.
And London, you mentioned there about the comic gig and obviously being in a series for 8 months, and obviously that is a love of yours. That's a burning passion. That's where you sort of made your name. And I remember speaking to Cedric the Entertainer in the past when he tried to diverse between the two worlds and sort of try and let's say make a name for himself in both worlds. Is it, as an actor, is it a comedian, is the crossover, can it be quite challenging? Do people don't realize that it is a completely different sort of genre? Do people think, well, he goes out in front of 30,000 or 20,000 people every night telling jokes, telling gigs, stand up, that jumping across the acting world would be very, very easy for him? Is it actually a different sort of a challenge to undertake? I know some comedians have found it that bit sort of daunting in terms of what they sort of thought. Is it not a smooth sailing as what people who are not on the outside are aware it is in terms of making
good question. They really are two different things, two different artistic muscles to work. For me, they kind of work hand in hand. Like when I'm playing Marvin, I still make sure I keep my comedic timing when I do Marvin, as far as doing the character Marvin on the show. But if when I'm doing stand-up, then sometimes when I tell jokes, or tell these stories, I still go into what's called act outs. So I'm still acting while I'm doing stand-up, and I'm still being funny while I'm doing the acting. So for my style, they work together. There's a timing that gets developed that comedians get sensitive to as we do perform stand-up, and I'm able to take that and apply that to the acting. So for me, they are two different acts, but it's psychologically it's not daunting to go from one idea to the other because my style works for both extremes. But it's been good to me, man. It works, so I'm not going to change my formula. It's been working.
And London Brown, have you ever crossed the shores here to the Emerald Isle in Ireland? Have you ever sort of set foot in the green Isles of Ireland?
You know what? I've had some friends there. I've yet to go there. First, I got to find my passport. I don't know where my passport is. I've been looking for that for a couple months now. But I got to get over there. I got to get over there. Last place I kind of think I went, as far as out of the country, was probably Canada. But of course, I've been to the UK and so forth, and China and so forth. I've been, Cuba. I've been some places, but I really need to get over there. I need to get on the other side of the world and see what this green is all about. I've been hearing about it, so it must be incredible.
And I suppose London Brown, now for the final 30 seconds, for people who are regular viewers of Power Book Raising Kanan, or who have seen the first episode of season 3 on December the 1st. But for new comers that might be listening into this interview this evening, for audience members that might be hearing about Power Book Raising Kanan for the very first time, if I can turn it over to you for the final 30 seconds, London London Brown. What's in store for them if they turn on their TV screens, turn on their box sets, and they tune into Power Book if they want to catch up on the first 2 seasons before the next episode of season 3 sort of drops? What does Power Book Raising Kanan? Why should they be compelled to their TV screens? Why should they turn it on, give it a look? And what's in store for them, London?
If you guys are trying to figure out what this show Raising Kanan is all about, you got to tune in. It's a great story about a family that's working hard to keep the unity within their family circle while also dealing with outside conflicts. Between the good writing, the diversity within characters, and then the star power, no pun intended, that we have on the show is definitely worth tuning in. You should tune in because you get a chance to realize why it's Star's #1 show and why it's such a large franchise. So major shout out to 50 Cent and everybody that's a part of the Courtney Kemp and Sasha Penn and all our directors, our crew, the actors. It's really worth tuning in. I'm trying to tell you. And if you see my work on Ballers, this character is my character Fat Reggie on Ballers on steroids. So you gotta catch it.
On that note, from me, Jim Conlan, to London Brown, who plays the character Marvin Thomas in the hit show Power Book Raising Kanan Season 3, which airs in Ireland and the UK on channel Lionsgate Plus. The first episode dropped on December the 1st. Next week now we'll see episode 2. Do catch it out. Season 4 is in production. It's in the works. We heard it from London Brown here first. All-star cast: Maike Curtis, Patina Miller, Tony Danza makes his debut now in season 3 as well. But all that's left to say for the moment is from me, Jim Conlan, to you, London Brown. Stay safe, take care, God bless, sir, and hopefully, please God, we'll see you in Ireland in near times, in the near future, and hopefully, please God, many more seasons of Power Book Raising Kanan to come. But for the moment, London Brown, stay safe, take care, and God bless, sir.
Thank you, man. Thank you.